Conservationists protest the Chinese contractors rushed the building of the railway into Nairobi National Park, home to hundreds of species without adequate environmental studies. Viewers Ndimiake Mwakalia narrates part 2 of our 3-part China-Africa series, the Madaraka Express.
Nearly 4 million people live in Nairobi, the capital of Kenya. Perhaps no big city has such an abundance of nature right at its back door.
This is like what Central Park is to New York.
Trish Hayes has been a Nairobi National Park fan for many years. On the border of one of Africa's fastest growing cities, it is home to endangered rhinos, lions, buffalo, giraffes, more than 400 species. The British first protected the land in the 1940s, and it has remained unspoiled until now.
Respect our laws, respect our animals.
Kenya's government is extending the country's new Chinese-built railway straight through the heart of the park, splitting the cherished preserve in two and igniting a firestorm. Opponents say they were blindsided. Until his death earlier this year, Sidney Kuntai led the coalition fighting the route. He said construction started before most Kenyans understood where the train would go.
In the last 1 year and a half, witnessed a very big threat to the Nairobi National Park.
Critics say that in the rush for jobs, Kenya's government failed to properly study the environmental impact. Lawyer Okia Omtata Okoiti joined conservationists in legal action aiming to halt the extension.
So I got orders stopping phase 2 until we had a few basics in place, like an environmental survey to understand what is the impact of the SGR on the environment.
The Kenya Railways Corporation and Chinese builders declined to answer VOA's questions or agree to interviews about Nairobi National Park. But the Kenya Wildlife Agency did allow VOA to visit the Tsavo National Park in central Kenya to see the SGR's impact there. The railway's first leg, from Nairobi to Mombasa, opened a year ago. It cuts through the 5,000 square mile preserve. A busy highway and older rail line already split the park. The Chinese built 8 high overpasses to allow wildlife in some areas to move freely under the train. Dr. Ben Okita is with Save the Elephants. Okita uses GPS collars to tag elephants and track their movements. His maps show signs that the animals are confused.
There is crossing, but then you can see there's some sections here where the animal tends to be struggling. So as much as they want to cross, they just can't. They just keep pacing.
While scientists studied the impact of Tsavo, Kenyans looked on with alarm as the train cut Nairobi National Park in two. Eventually, the route will extend north to the Ugandan border. Longtime neighbors say the government turned its back on the park's heritage. Kitengela Glass sits at the end of a long dirt road in Olusikron, south of the park. Owner Nani Crows has collected newspaper clippings documenting every twist of the railway construction.
We have so few animals, wild animals, African animals. Where do you find them? In Kenya. This is the treasure of the world. And here we come, and then you sell it to the Chinese for a railway? Bloody hell!
But for Nairobi National Park, it appears there's no turning back.